And we're getting ready to stream live, baby.
All right.
Live.
Gotcha.
Live, baby,
Gotcha.
live.
We've
Here
already
we go.
entered the control room. We've already hit that stream now button.
Hit that button. That's right.
And it looks like they're having a party out
Cool.
there. So,
Oh.
Again?
Really?
Well,
Okay.
word.
Again?
Yeah, they're having a party.
Me and A?
Alright.
You're
Wow.
gonna throw at that, man.
Not
whatever,
bad.
Whatever you
Not
need
bad.
to do.
You know what?
It's
Because I can,
Cool.
and because I already have this playlist on hand,
You
this
say
is what's going to happen.
Uh-huh. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. That's right. Let's go.
Whoop! Here we go! It's Casual Tuesday!
Yes.
We are ENT Hooligans!
Happy Casual Tuesday, everybody. What up, y'all?
Woo!
That's
What up?
Right.
Hope everybody had a blessed weekend.
All right.
Yeah.
Woo!
Sweet.
That's right.
We are back,
So?
refueled, re-energized, reinvigorated. Yeah.
That's right.
Back.
So,
That's right. Be back.
speaking of,
I'm Baby
not
Moy.
being back, but
He's Austin. She's Star Fox. He's Ness. We are ENT Hooligans.
That's right.
I hope you guys had a nice, productive, energetic, off the hook, chain, awesome weekend. As it was fight weekend,
yeah.
we had UFC,
Hot.
we had NXT, we had Ring of Honor, we had WrestleMania. Woo!
Woo! So much going on. So much
Yes, sir.
action. In a matter
right.
of two days. So much action in such a short time. Beautiful.
3 days.
I'm not gonna recap.
Yes.
I'm not gonna recap every single thing that happened. This is gonna be more on a less of a smarkish type of plateau, if you may. Plateau. I like that word. Plateau. That's right.
Yes, type of
Plato,
type
see,
of
that's
way.
right.
That's right. Platos. Yeah.
Plato.
Plates.
Yeah. Plato.
Plates.
Yeah. Yeah, plates.
Plates.
Yeah.
Plates, man.
Plates.
Lay it on the plate.
Yes.
Go.
Yes. So,
So
yeah.
here's how it goes, folks. So we had two WWE events. Even though one, I don't consider it to be a WWE event, and I'm looking at you, NXT.
Yes.
How is it,
For sure.
given what we saw over the weekend, how is it that a product that's under the WWE banner and roof, how is it that it's so different than the product that we're exposed to on Mondays and Tuesdays via WWE's main roster? Because when you look at that 6-man ladder match for the NA Championship to crown the first ever, and when you look at how they closed that event with Gargano versus Tommaso Ciampa, that's how you
In a
both open
non-sanctioned
and close
street fight.
a show.
Oh, yeah.
And the stuff sandwiched in between those two matches was also amazing. The crowd never, ever let down. The crowd was on fire all night long. Every single match developed
Right.
either from a wrestling or story perspective. I mean, I don't say this much, folks, but if there's a wrestling event that I can deem all around perfect, it was NXT TakeOver New Orleans this past Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I'm with you, Mo. I don't understand how NXT, which is under the WWE banner, looks like a completely different company.
It looks and
really
it feels
does.
and sounds
It
like a
feels
completely
like
different
it.
company.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't get
Yeah.
it. I
No, it
don't,
does,
I don't
man.
quite get that at all.
I don't
Could
understand
it be? I mean, could it be because of the writers? Maybe different writing styles.
They do have a
know,
different
like you
writing
said.
staff. But here's the thing.
I would say that
Before I get into all that,
That's part of it. yeah.
I just want to make note of something for you guys who are just simply WWE fans. You know, for you guys who don't necessarily venture off to watch Ring of Honor or New Japan, okay? If you want to know what I experience when I watch New Japan or Ring of Honor, watch NXT.
Watch Takeover. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Because that is wrestling. That is storytelling. That is a show.
yes.
And on top of that, if you are the kind of fan that loves the sports element of it, and I'm referring to the way they led us into NXT TakeOver with the pre-show. It was a sports-like pre-fight show. Pre-game
Absolute.
show.
Absolute.
The way it was brilliantly done.
So you like the
if you're the kind of
presentation.
fan who appreciates that.
You'll like the
You like
presentation.
that kind of presentation, yes. Yes. You know, when I used to watch WWF/WWE religiously back in the day, that's one of the things I enjoyed about it was the balance of the build up to the matches and then the matches themselves. And it was all centered around the title, which is what sports are usually centered around, the title. Everybody's trying to win the title.
Correct.
Right.
Now let me ask you something. And this goes to the whole panel. In terms of telling a story in the ring, how much of it were you able to gather? And if you're a newcomer who just happened to stumble across NXT TakeOver, would you be able to get sucked into the moment? Sucked into the story that they're trying to convey?
If I were a newcomer at this, I can honestly say I would have gotten caught up in the moment.
Yeah, me
As
too.
a matter of fact, that's how I got caught up
same
in the
here.
moment, back in 1999. I just happened to be flipping through the channels, and I come across Stone Cold cutting a promo. I'm like, oh, what's this? You know?
Wow.
For sure.
Between the WWE main product and NXT, what differences are noticeable? And I know it might sound like a dumb question, but I think we have to educate people on this.
Okay. Well, in my opinion, NXT tells stories in the ring. They don't center it around video packages or backstage stuff, anything like that. They tell stories in the ring. NXT does. The main product, they're getting a little better about this, about telling stories in the ring, but they, we still see backstage moments and things of that nature.
Yeah.
But that's just my opinion.
What's your take, Austin?
NXT, like, is the best way that I can explain it. Like, it seems to flow better, like the floor. The flow is more natural, if you will, as opposed to the main product. And it seems like they give more, what's the term I'm looking for here?
More leeway.
Like, they respect tag teams more
Yes.
than, like, the main product.
Yes,
and
I'm
things like
glad.
that.
I'm glad you brought that. That's an excellent point. Ness, what's your takeaway?
Well, like Austin just said, the flow of things overall, as far as in-ring and out-ring, it's more natural in NXT, where in WWE, everything is in the main product, Raw and SmackDown, everything seems to be forced. It's too forced. It's too disingenuous.
How do how do you guys feel in terms of the characters and how they come across in generating both adoration and heat?
It's interesting. Man, like, I have an idea. I'm trying to think of how can I say it.
Well, that match,
Like,
with Tommaso Ciampa, I mean, he brilliantly executed the role of the heel.
Masterful.
I mean,
Masterful.
Yeah.
masterful.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I mean, man, he did everything well to get you to root against him. That was the mission. It was well executed.
Absolute.
Basically, he was bad in a good way.
And there's
and to put it in layman's terms.
And there's such a void in WWE's main products when it comes to that, because they're so focused on Roman Reigns.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gimmicky. That's the best
Exactly. Exactly.
It's gimmicky.
And obviously, yeah, wrestling as a whole is a gimmick, if you may, but
Yeah.
there's a such thing as too
Still.
gimmicky to the point where it
Yes,
kind of
yeah.
breaks reason and logic, which is what
waters
NXT
it down,
uses a lot of the times in their booking, reason and logic. For example, that ladder match, usually when it comes to the main product, when they give you a ladder match, let's say, for example, all the combatants but one are laying on the canvas. So the one has the opportunity to go up for the belt. He'll take his sweet time climbing rung by rung because he's stalling for a combatant to get up and sprint after him. Now, normally, logic says, bro, why don't you just sprint up there? Which is what they did in NXT TakeOver. When combatants were down and out for the count, the remaining person who was still on their feet would sprint up that ladder, and immediately somebody would just instinctively, oh shoot, I gotta get up, boom, 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 run right after him, making sure that the person wouldn't get to the title.
Yeah,
It was
'cause NXT,
natural.
They didn't lose sight of the element of competition.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right.
Yes.
And that's where logic and reason comes in. Because
Yes.
what do logic and reason tell you? If I'm in a match with you guys, and let's say, okay, I'm down, and Austin's down, Ness, that leaves you free, what are you going to do automatically?
I'm gonna go for the belt.
Right. And if I'm laying down and Austin's down,
Capitalize.
and we see this, what are we going to think? Oh, crap, I got to get up.
Gotta get up.
Yeah. You guys gonna try to get up?
Run right after you.
Yeah.
Or drop kick the ladder or something to catapult you off of the
Yeah.
ladder.
Exactly.
They were not waiting for the setup. No. Everything just had a natural balance to it.
Yeah.
So, I
want to see
mean,
that match, by the way. You, Austin, and Ness.
stay tuned, folks. So, I mean, it just baffles me in a way because, again, it goes back to that question: how are you under the same banner and yet your NXT roster outshines you every single time? Not just sometimes, every single time.
Another question is, why don't they incorporate these elements on their main flagship
On their
shows?
main product.
I don't,
Yeah,
I don't
that's
understand.
what I don't understand. I don't understand that either.
Just doesn't make any sense.
So here we go. Hunter's in charge of NXT. That is Paul Levesque's baby. The man hovering over the main product is still around. And he's the man who has been around for eons of years, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think that this man has a grasp on reality and understands, yo, there's a new flavor of wrestling out there. There's a new flavor there's a new breed of wrestling fan out there.
To reiterate what I've said whenever we've discussed this, either here on podcast or off air, Vince McMahon needs to retire. But we all know he won't.
And I don't know if he understands this or comprehends this or gets this or doesn't care or what, or doesn't know, which I'm sure he does know. There are other brands out there besides WWE. WWE isn't the main, brand anymore.
Yep.
Like I said, I don't know if he doesn't care or what.
Yeah, he just doesn't care. Probably. I think it's a mixed combination of all those things.
I've always said
he needs to retire.
I've always said this. Even now in WWE, there are more marks than casual fans watching these products now. I don't know what McMahon does again.
Yeah.
Listen, it's a bad thing when you have 70,000 plus fans at WrestleMania during your main event, Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns, and they're chanting the words, "This is awful."
Yeah.
This is awful.
I heard that. I was like, oh.
So, it's safe to say that the trending topic amongst the hardcore fans is NXT TakeOver.
Yes.
Yes.
Rightfully so. Rightfully so.
Now,
For sure.
let me... I said I wasn't going to bring out the smart cap, but here we go. I have to. It would be unnatural if I didn't,
Oh,
right?
it's no issue.
Yeah.
Good.
Go ahead.
All right, so let me put on the cap. Yo, here we go. One more time. Walla Walla rice and beans. Yeah, bruh, you know what I mean. Okay. All right.
Uh-huh.
So, first off, Mr. McMahon,
Yeah.
you are delusional and an idiot if you think that you're going to insult our intelligence if you think we know absolutely nothing, sir.
Yeah.
If you think that we do not understand the concept of protecting somebody's character and protecting somebody's finisher, you, sir, are stupid.
Who the hell do you think you are?
Now, I understand, and I have it on good word. That Lesnar,
Yeah.
he went a little off character. But I want you guys to understand this. It is absolutely natural. And it absolutely brings legitimacy to a wrestling style match for Brock Lesnar to hybrid MMA and wrestling. It is absolutely natural for him to take off his gloves. Why does he take off his gloves? Because, with all due respect, people forgive my language, but what he's trying to tell you guys is shit got real. That's what he's saying. Oh, but he stiffed him with the elbow shots. Big deal. It's not the first time that Brock Lesnar has done this. It should be expected for him to do this. You know, and it's crazy with some of these fans because damned if you do and damned if you don't. If you don't bring legitimacy to it, oh, he's too fake. If you do bring legitimacy to it and you bust up your opponent's face just a little bit, oh, he went in too hard.
So what the hell do they want?
So, but you know what? The core fan ain't bitching. We love it. We love it and we understand it. And unfortunately, and I don't mean to insult anybody here, and if you do feel insulted, well, too damn bad. But there's more of us than you casual fans.
Yes.
That's true words right there. True words.
Yes.
Now this brings me to this question. Do you think that they're trying too hard to appeal to the casual fan?
Without a shadow of a doubt.
Without a doubt, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's obvious that they are.
But how?
They're trying way too hard with storylines.
But for how long can you play the ignorance card before you start realizing, oh yeah, you know what? There is more of them than the people we're trying to appease.
And not only that, there's other options out there for you guys. Like
Yeah.
Exactly.
hello.
Yeah.
You know, and for you casual fans who aren't with the times, whenever you hear the majority of that audience chanting "too sweet," that, first of all, that's a reference to the NWO, and that's a reference to the Bullet Club in New Japan and Ring of Honor.
Yes.
Yep.
Take note.
Exactly.
Oh, why do you sound so
Come on,
angry?
what's
I did my research on that.
I'm not angry. I'm just making a point. And if reality stings just a little bit, well, too damn bad, Junior.
Like the Stinger Splash. There we go.
Just saying.
Exactly.
It's reality, man. You know, and after, listen. If you hit your finisher once, twice, 3 times and lose eventually, that's fine. I don't think it diminishes your character or your finisher. But after 5, 6 times, if you tell me that Roman Reigns deserved to win that match, get the fuck out of here.
No.
After all that, Roman Reigns did not deserve to win the match. And this coming from somebody who wanted Roman Reigns to win because I want to see a champion on Raw every week. But after that, after seeing what was going on in front of my eyes, I said no. Roman Reigns does not deserve to win. They should book this for Brock Lesnar to win, and rightfully so, they did. Rightfully so.
Well,
because it would have been unfair even to Brock Lesnar to lose that match, because had he lost, guess what? You have just flushed the Brock Lesnar character and the F5 down the toilet. Learn wrestling psychology, people.
Yeah. Exactly.
Learn it. Learn it.
Once they went down the road of excessively using the F5, there was no other outcome that they could have gone with.
Of course not.
That was the only outcome at that point.
Now, usually I would be absolutely against Brock Lesnar having a fit. But in this case, I'm going to say it. He's right. He has a right to be angry. In this case, he has a right to be pissed.
Yep.
How you gonna tell me that I'm gonna be your special attraction? You know, whether or not I deserve to have a Legends contract, that's neither here nor there right now. But how you gonna tell me that you're safeguarding me for special attractions, and this is how you're gonna treat me, and this is how you're gonna treat my finishing maneuver?
Yeah, Vince.
Very.
I don't
Didn't
get
he
it.
have words with him backstage after that?
Yes. How you gonna tell me?
Yeah, he did.
How you gonna tell me that? How and why would you book me that way, man?
Yeah.
Yeah, because then that's, I mean, like you said, that's just throwing your character down the toilet. Then, if that's, you know.
Thank goodness that Roman Reigns didn't
If
win,
Reigns
because
won.
had he won,
Yeah.
that audience would have rioted.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because you know, because you know what? Because you know what? Let me tell you something. Sure, there were more people rooting for Brock. But you know what? There were plenty rooting for Roman Reigns. But boy, how that changed. How that changed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if they were gonna have Brock use his finisher moves 5-6 times, they should have had it more of a back and forth of an exchange. It should have been more of an exchange.
Right, finisher for finisher.
But it.
Yeah,
both canceling each other. Both canceling each other out.
Yeah,
Exactly.
shades of Rock
But
and
they
Austin at Mania.
Right.
That's the way they should.
Rock bottom, stunner, rock bottom. You know, nobody's finishing anybody here yet. Who's going to prevail?
Yeah. It should have been back and forth.
Come on, man. Come on. When is WWE going to get it through their heads? They will never sell Roman Reigns to us until they turn him heel.
Yep.
What don't they understand?
Yeah, this whole babyface thing's gotta go.
What don't
And
they
it's so
get?
stupid.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just all Vince.
Of course it is. Of course it's all
Well,
Vince.
who else
All
is
of
it going to
it.
be?
Vince, look,
All of
Vince
it.
is the alpha and omega of
Right,
that company.
exactly.
Okay, I mean, he has the final say,
Right.
and he's going to do it his way. That's just the way it is.
He's
Until
got to
he
be
re-
stupid. Does he not have ears? Does he not hear people saying this is awful? This is awful. They were chanting bullshit.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like, it's like Ness
just
and I
doesn't
both said,
care.
he just doesn't care.
The majority of the audience, not some, the majority.
No. Majority. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Loud
said it.
and
The
clear.
WWE and wrestling fan is no longer casual. Not anymore, man. We understand it. We know what's up. We know how a match should be built, and we understand when you're trying to devalue a wrestler's worth. We get it, man.
And that's not right.
So don't tell me that Roman Reigns was supposed to win, because anybody in their right mind knows that he wasn't. And if you're in the boat that says otherwise, then you're selling the seas by yourself, buddy. Because you won
Watch out for the
versus
sharks.
because you're one versus a lot of us. And I'm sure there's a couple of people out there who stand by this.
Yeah. Excuse me.
And you know what? I'll say this. If you do have an argument for Roman Reigns, please be it an intelligent one.
Yep.
Please.
Thunder agrees.
Yeah, Thunder agrees.
Thunder does agree.
Yeah, there we go.
You know, I watch Ring of Honor and I watch New Japan and I watch NXT. I'm going to ask my panel this question. How many times have I complained about an event that those three companies have put together?
Not at all.
None.
Not at all.
None.
Not all.
What is my overall assessment whenever I watch NXT, Ring of Honor, or New Japan?
Wow.
Holy ish,
And
what did
wow.
I just see?
And wow.
Yeah. Yep.
That's it.
Amazement.
You can't even.
I mean, me
you
too.
can't even give
know?
us a match that stood out because they
Yeah.
would all have you on the edge of your seat.
Like, yeah. Like,
All of them.
yeah.
And,
You know,
so many
like,
different...
I wasn't arrested.
Go ahead, Austin.
See, the thing about me is I wasn't a wrestling fan until last year when I got exposed to New Japan and NXT and ROH and things of that nature. But like last night, I was like, dude, I really don't want to watch Raw, to be honest with you. I really did. I was like, I really don't care. Even though it is supposed to be good after WrestleMania, I just didn't have that belief that it really would be. Honestly.
It just doesn't make any sense for WWE to have this product in NXT be totally
Yeah.
different from the rest of the.
Yeah.
Now, now, from what little you tune in, Ness, or more so from what you hear me talk about or other people around us, what do you pick up in terms of the differences between NXT and the main product?
Well, from what little I've tuned into and from what I've heard from the people around us, it's like night and day. Like night and day.
It really is.
It's like
honestly.
night and day. And,
Because
Now, haven't watched the ladder match and Ciampa versus Gargano.
Uh-huh.
What stood out there?
Whew! What stood out? Those guys just went all out. I mean, it reminded me of the old TLC days when I was watching that ladder match. It was the Attitude Era all over again. Gargano and Ciampa, those guys left it all out in the ring, outside the ring.
Okay, so let me.
it was incredible.
Now let me argue this. Some people complain, Brock was stiff-shotting Roman Reigns. Oh, Brock took off his gloves. Hello? Most wrestlers fight without gloves. And if you watched NXT, then, did you not see how messed up Ciampa and Gargano's faces were?
Yeah, those guys beat the holy hell out of each other.
I mean, even I knew that, for goodness sake.
Those guys beat the hell out of each other.
Yes, they did.
Oh yeah, for sure. That's for sure.
And mind you,
Crazy,
okay, these are cruiserweights having this street fight, no holds barred. I mean, yeah, it's you hardly ever see cruiserweights involved in this kind of match.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly.
That was another thing that stood out to me about that match, Gargano and Ciampa. These are cruiserweights going out there, beating the holy hell out of each other as if they were Steve Blackman and Prince Albert.
I mean, you want to talk about stiff shots?
Good Lord.
Woo!
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable.
Those guys, they went in, man. They left it all out there in the ring, outside the ring, on the table, on the floor, they left it all out there.
But no, as for Brock, this isn't the first time that he's ever taken off his gloves. And it hasn't been the first time that he stiff shots people with elbows. Is it controversial? Yes, it is. Does he go out of line sometimes? Yes, he does. Does it work? Yes, it
of course
does.
Mission accomplished. Mission accomplished.
But back to NXT. It began with a bang and ended with an explosion.
Bang. Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
For sure.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
and the stuff in between the two slices of bread. Look, people, if you want the definition of a perfectly structured show, of a perfect or near perfect wrestling match or wrestling event, watch
There it is, right there.
NXT TakeOver New Orleans.
NXT.
Yep.
Yes. It's
Matter of fact,
Good
start
stuff.
with the pre-show and watch it all the way through the event.
That's right.
Mhm.
If you enjoy the sports-like atmosphere of a pre-fight, pre-game show into an awesome, action-packed sporting event, then NXT TakeOver is for you.
It's awesome. It's good stuff.
Incredible. And if you tell me that you didn't enjoy it, then I got something to tell you. You don't belong watching wrestling, pal. And get out of here and don't waste my time. And no, I'm not trying to come across as a jerk. I'm not trying to come across as somebody who knows it all, because there are probably people who know a little bit more than I do. But I'll be damned if I don't know more than you. I've been watching this since I was in diapers, man.
Woo.
All right?
Wow.
I understand how it works. And I think what makes me and other people, what makes us the elite when it comes to fandom, we don't only stick to WWE products. We watch NXT, Ring of Honor, New Japan, Lucha Underground. Watch it all, man.
Yeah.
I didn't mention TNA because TNA is beyond the point of life support at this point.
They're in a,
I forgot about
vegetative
TNA.
state still.
Hey, I haven't heard of that in a long time.
Oh my
for
lord, they're
TNA.
terrible.
How are they still around? I don't understand. How are they still around?
I didn't know they were still around, honestly.
So speaking
Yo.
of TNA, last night on Raw, the storyline is Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens are looking for jobs because, you know, they're no longer eligible to be on SmackDown since they lost their tag team bout against Daniel Bryan and Shane McMahon. And so they're talking to Kurt Angle, the general manager of Raw, and you know, these guys are pleading Angle to please, you know, let us work here. And Kurt's like, yeah, I understand you had an altercation with the higher-ups, you know, with Shane McMahon and Daniel Bryan. And they're like, yeah, but that was then. They had a personal vendetta against us. It's different here. We're going to conduct ourselves as human beings. We learned a lot during the last 24 hours. And Kurt goes, I heard there were openings in TNA.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Wow.
Oh, shots fired. Dang.
He said,
That
I
my friend
heard
is
them.
Whoa.
Yeah, my friend is what we call getting owned. That's right.
He said,
Yes.
I was like, oh,
Dang.
wow.
which
That is
garnered
a beast.
an
Wow.
O from me and everyone in the arena.
Whoa.
Yep. Yep.
Again,
Wow.
let me say that again,
Wow.
from me
Wow.
and everyone in that arena.
Wow. He went there. He took it there.
Why do I
for
emphasize?
him.
Now, Ness,
He did.
now, guys, why do I emphasize everyone in that arena?
Well, you're referring back to the fact that the majority of the audience are the core fans. So they know.
Exactly.
They know. They are well aware of how things operate. They know. They could smell bullshit a mile away.
Exactly.
Yep.
There you go.
Yep.
There you go.
Exactly.
So before you make an assessment, guys, please study, learn, know what you're talking about. You know,
Yeah.
don't just take things at face value because of what you see playing out on the screen. There's so much more that goes into a wrestling match, into a wrestling show. So much more that
Yeah.
ties into a wrestler's character. And that includes their movesets. That includes, in wrestling, you protect both his or her body and his or her moveset. Which in turn, if you protect a character's moveset, you're protecting them, their dignity as a character. Don't take away from anybody in that ring just because. That's not fair. You know, even if Brock Lesnar is a part-time guy, it's still not fair to him because he's still going out there to perform. Whether or not he does it for the money, which he does. But let's just forget that. Let's just look at it for what it is. Let's look at the bigger picture here. Even if it's Brock Lesnar, he deserves his dignity and respect as the character that he plays out there, and not only that, but for going out there to entertain you.
Yep.
If the shoe were on the other foot, and it was Roman that this was happening to, I'd be making the same argument. This has nothing to do with my disdain towards Roman Reigns. Because wrong is wrong and right is right. And if it was Roman Reigns who they were devaluing as a character, if it was his moveset that they were making look weak, I would have had a big-ass problem with it too. So no, people.
And there is another difference between the core fans and the casual fans. Casual fans, they pick a side and they stick to it.
And they stick to it, yeah.
There's no objective,
Correct.
no objectivity whatsoever, none.
No.
Exactly.
Okay, we all get it. Brock is a heel. No kidding.
Mm-hmm.
Really? Wow.
But still,
Yeah.
you don't want to
Well.
see his character devalued.
No. No, that's
Yeah.
wrong.
Because it's not fair. It's wrong.
You know, independently.
Or as we've
Go ahead. Go
Or
ahead.
as we've mentioned in the confines of sports, no matter how much you root for a team, you never want to see anybody on their team get injured.
Yes.
You don't root for injury.
Understand.
Not cool.
Well,
Understand that Brock's character is supposed to be a meeting between a wrestler and an MMA fighter.
Right.
And if anything, if I were playing booking, that's exactly how I would book Brock. You're an MMA fighter? Use it.
well,
Prime examples of this. Let me see if I could think back here. Going back to the past. Let me think here. Okay. Steve Blackman. Ken Shamrock.
He had a karate background. Yeah. Ken Shamrock, another one. MMA.
You know. Dan Severn. These are people who came from other backgrounds, and yet they told them, utilize what you have in your arsenal. Don't just stick to wrestling. If you know another discipline, incorporate it into your moveset and string it together with wrestling.
Other examples include, Kai and Tai, Tajiri,
Yep.
Kenzo Suzuki.
Yep.
Another example. These guys utilized whatever other background that they have in the ring and put it together with wrestling.
Exactly. Kozlov.
Yeah, he was a Sambo champion. He had a black
Exactly.
belt in Sambo.
Exactly.
Vladimir Kozlov. Yeah.
Kurt Angle.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But he's a wrestler.
Another good example.
Moron. He's a chain wrestler. He's an Olympic wrestler.
Chain wrestler. Yep.
Yeah.
How many wrestlers do you know who utilize chain wrestling? Not many.
Very few.
Kurt Angle,
Very
AJ
few.
Styles. Those are two examples.
Shawn Michaels.
Yep. Yeah, that surprised me. I remember WrestleMania 21. When I caught a glimpse, well, not a glimpse, because I watched the match, but when I saw Shawn chain wrestling with Kurt Angle, going hold for hold, stringing maneuvers together, I was in awe. Because I knew Shawn was very well-rounded, but chain wrestling is a very, very difficult style to necessarily execute. Because
You can't
again,
get off.
what you're doing is you're stringing one move after the other. You know, you're going from, for example, headlock to hammerlock to knee bar, back again to the arm, back again, string it to a suplex, string that to an arm bar, back to a suplex, you know, and back and forth we go.
Mm-hmm.
So, don't devalue that. You know, and I think the main product, when we talk about SmackDown and Raw, I think that they very much devalue not just the characters, but the name of wrestling alone. You know, the way that wrestling is presented on Raw and on SmackDown, sometimes, I dare say, it's shameful. It ain't fair.
Yep.
You're right. It's not. I mean, it is a shame.
Wow.
Like, it's frustrating to the core fans. I mean, it's, you know, it's off-putting to those of us who used to be fans, and now we're turned off by it. It's a shame. Yeah.
So please, before you make an argument, study your facts. Know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Again, I don't know it all, but I'll be damned if I don't know a lot. And if you don't like hearing the truth, you know what they say about the truth. Oh, it's true. It's true.
It's damn true.
It's damn true.
You know what I hated? You know what I really, really hated?
Yo.
It's real.
Oh, God.
Mm-hmm.
Dumb.
When Kurt was using that in
really, really
TNA,
dumb.
I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Yeah.
I like it's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, Ronda Rousey. First off, yes, she's a natural. I know a lot of people were saying that coming into WrestleMania. She's such a natural. She's so gifted. She's so this. She's so that. I thought it was all hype, which, yeah, it was. But man, they was right. Ronda Rousey, the way she both executed maneuvers and the way she sold moves. For those who don't know what selling a move is, it's basically agonizing, making things look real. Buying into the move. Letting the person know, I'm hurt. You know what I'm saying? So,
Well,
what I want to focus more on, though, with Ronda is her interview afterwards with ESPN. And she said
Yes.
she finally addressed her losses and said, part of me, yes, is happy that happened to me. Now, the question I think a lot of people ask is, why wait now? I'll give you the answer. I'll give the answer. You know why she waited now, in
Yep.
my opinion? Because she wanted to make sure that she fit the wrestling mold.
Fit in.
mm-hmm.
That's all it is.
Yeah. Yeah. Because she hadn't made her debut yet when she was getting all these questions.
Right.
So, you know. But she said, you know, she's part of her was happy that she lost those two fights because it led her here.
Yes.
You know.
And let's not forget, this is what ultimately she wanted to do.
Yes.
But, you know, I feel bad for her because, again, whenever I hear her say that,
Yeah.
it makes me feel that for the majority of her life, she was forced into MMA.
She was.
You know?
She talks about that in previous interviews, yeah.
So does that really tell you that was something she wanted to do? She never wanted to be an MMA to begin with. And a lot of the times when she speaks about it, when she speaks of putting women's MMA on the map, it makes it seem like she was obligated.
Yeah, she was placed with that burden on her shoulders.
Uh-huh. When all the meantime, all she wanted to do was perform.
She wanted to perform in the WWE.
And you can
That
tell
was her-
she's genuinely happy to be there.
Oh, absolutely.
sure.
She's having a
She
blast.
is genuinely happy. She is. Oh yeah.
She's having
that
a
feud
blast.
with her and Stephanie McMahon.
Yeah, you could
is
Yeah, that was a
definitely
question.
awesome.
There was a question
For sure.
brought up on Speak for Yourself yesterday regarding Rousey.
Uh-huh.
And the question was, is she going to be a bigger star in WWE than she was in the UFC?
Huh.
It's an interesting question. Interesting question. In a company
interesting.
filled with stars, will she
Wow.
rise above the rest?
I think she already has. That's the best way I can answer that. I think she already has. I really don't think that question should even be asked. Simply because, first of all, the reception she got at WrestleMania, the attention she's been getting around her, in terms of her now being part of the WWE.
Yeah.
And for what it is, you know, WWE has been around longer than the UFC. And, you know, I'll bring up a name to you. Everyone knows who John Cena is, wrestling fan or not. Okay?
Oh yeah, he's a crossover star.
Now, here we go. Here we go. Here's a dose of reality for you MMA fans out there. As much as I love this character, or these characters, not everyone knows who Anderson Silva is or George St. Pierre.
Nope.
No, they're not. They're not crossover stars. No.
No.
Not everyone knew, and I hate bringing this name up, but not everyone knew who McGregor was till he crossed over to boxing.
Yep.
Correct.
Ain't I right?
Yeah.
But everyone worldwide knows who John Cena is.
Yep. For sure.
So you guys understand what I'm saying here?
Yep. Definitely.
Whether
I
you
asked
want
somebody
to
the other
accept
day.
it or not, MMA, in this case the UFC, yeah, it's popular, but it's not as popular as Mr. White wants you to believe.
Yep.
It ain't.
Again, the majority of the audience are the core fans. We are the majority of
Yes.
that audience.
Yes.
Core fans.
Now, I'll give you an example. I go to Honduras, which is where I'm from. I ask people, or if I show them a picture, do you know this guy or this guy? You know, George St. Pierre or Anderson Silva or John Jones or any of them. They'll have to I'll either get, I don't know, or they'll think about it for a moment. Oh, yeah, I've seen them. You know, I've seen them. Showed them a picture of John Cena. Hey, ese es John Cena, ¿verdad?
Yep. Yeah. Yep.
Hey, that's Hulk Hogan, right? Hey, that's The Rock, right?
Yep.
Hey, that's The Undertaker. Yes, even Undertaker's a known name.
Wow.
They have to second guess when it comes to these MMA fighters.
Yeah.
But why is that, Ness?
Wow.
They are not promoted well.
What would your argument be, Austin? And you, Crystal?
Like the what do you call it? like recognition and the what's the term? Like the draw or something.
Ah,
You know.
wow,
That's my big thing is the draw.
Austin. You're making some awesome arguments here. Go ahead, Crystal. What do you got? My God.
Because that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing that you were thinking, Austin. It's the draw and it's lack of promotion.
Lack of promotion.
Yeah.
What sense,
In
Crystal,
other
do you?
countries.
What sense, Crystal, do you get when you watch MMA versus a wrestling event?
When I watch an MMA event, I think, oh, this is really cool. You know, this is something that I can get into. Wrestling, oh, I know who those people are. I don't have to ask anybody and feel all weird about it. Like, I don't know who y'all are. I don't know who that is.
Now, it's gotten to the point. It's gotten to the point where even Ness, who's detached from wrestling, I bet you, and part of it, has to do because he hears me talking about it and people around us, but I digress. Nowadays, he looks at an MMA card, and his question becomes, well, who the hell is that?
Yeah.
Tell me I'm lying, bro. Tell me I'm lying.
A couple of months ago, we had a card just like that. Mo and I are going through the card, and we're both going, who?
And we're people that watch this on a constant. Let it be
We're the
known.
core fans, and we don't know who the hell these people are. We're the core fans.
And we weren't the only ones on that boat.
Wow.
Everyone else on forums and junk, we're like, who?
Well, dang, man, that's crazy. Gee whiz, dude.
Now, in wrestling, again, we look at the core fan. If we usher in somebody from New Japan or Ring of Honor, we already know who they are.
Yep.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Case in point, Ricochet.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That happened to me this week, and I was like,
Was
oh yeah,
in the
I'm
ladder
Ricochet
match.
from New Japan or whatever.
Exactly. You did make that comment.
Yeah.
Now, our boy Eddie, shout out to him.
Yeah.
He knew of Ricochet. Obviously, he doesn't watch. He doesn't necessarily have access to New Japan or Ring of Honor like that, but he hears it from me.
Yeah.
And he knew who Ricochet
He was. Looking
was.
forward to watching. He was looking forward to seeing what Ricochet was all about.
But he knew.
Yep.
Look at an MMA card nowadays. You're going,
Cool.
what?
Exactly.
Who that?
We, the core fans, are looking at an MMA card and going, who is that? Who? Who? Who?
So I think
That's the
all of
problem.
I think all of this brought to the forefront pretty much answers the question that they was asking in terms of Ronda Rousey.
Listen, Rousey didn't just put women's MMA on the map, man. She put MMA as a whole on a
Yes.
mainstream sports platform.
Yes.
ESPN wasn't covering UFC before Ronda Rousey showed up. They weren't covering them at all.
No.
Hardly ever.
Right.
Hardly ever. ESPN covered it hardly ever, if at all.
But let me ask you this.
Rousey shows up on the scene. Rousey's on SportsCenter. She's on Mike and Mike. She's on Sports Nation. Formerly Mike and Mike, and she's everywhere, all over the First Take. She was all throughout.
But let me ask-
going into her fight with I think it was Holly Holm, or she was gonna fight.
But let me
that fight. She was on ESPN. She was everywhere.
But let me ask you this. How much coverage is there really, though, in terms of MMA? It seems to me
Not much.
that
It's
the
not much.
only press that MMA gets is when something bad happens.
Yeah.
Case in point, the disaster that was
There's a
this
disaster with
past
Conor.
week.
Correct.
Yeah, because I was watching Good Morning America,
They were
and that's
talking
when
about
it came on. They were talking about it.
Oh God.
I mean, I'm not going to exaggerate this. and it might sound like I'm exaggerating it, but golf gets more coverage than MMA.
No, that's not an exaggeration.
Tennis,
That's a fact.
tennis
That's a fact.
gets more coverage than MMA.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know,
Jeez.
baseball,
These are
basketball,
these are all global sports too. We're talking about
baseball, basketball, and soccer. That there's no question about those.
goes without saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Those three go without
That goes
saying.
without saying. Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
But MMA?
Wow.
Come on now, man.
Again, only when something bad happens, whether it be John Jones failing a drug test or
Anderson Silva breaking his foot in
Anderson
half.
Silva breaking his foot in half, or the disaster that was this past Thursday with Connor and the rest of his thug friends
Yep.
vandalizing
Yep.
that bus.
Yep. So come on, man.
Wow.
That's not even a question.
No.
Exactly.
I wouldn't be surprised if Ronda Rousey has picked up recognition around the world more so now than when she was in MMA.
Of course.
Oh yeah, for sure. Of
Of
course.
course.
Obviously, MMA helped her here in the States, but around most
But
of the
now
world.
she's, yeah.
And again, it goes back to the argument that Crystal Austin and Ness made. Promotion, promotion, promotion.
Yeah.
Say what you want about the WWE. And yes, I ranted about them a couple of minutes ago. But
But one
they are
thing-
a
one thing
marketing
Vince
machine.
McMahon- One thing Vince McMahon is good at, great at, is marketing. He is a I mean, for God's sakes, he sold people on the disaster of the XFL. I mean, he sold it.
And he'll do it again.
I mean, man.
And he'll do it again.
Oh yeah, he will.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he'll do it.
I mean, he's not going to sell me into it, but he'll do it again.
Me either.
But he'll do it again.
But he'll sell a lot of people. Oh, he'll do it again.
yeah, he will.
So you can't fault him for that. He's doing what
He's
he
a
was
marketing
born to
genius.
do. Come on.
Yeah.
Got to give him his due somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
I know, folks.
And you would think that MMA would have more of a global buzz
Yeah.
Yes.
because of
Given
the
its
fact that they're
legitimacy.
on- its legitimacy and the
Right.
fact that they're on a major sports outlet in Fox.
Correct.
Yeah, because I remember when I first saw it, I'm like, oh, is this
Now-
international?
Let me ask you this. How much, and yes, I recall, but let me ask this, guys. How much
Yeah.
more recognition will the WWE and its products pick up once they reach a deal with Fox?
Even more.
Even more.
more.
Even more.
I mean, for crying out loud, they're not even on Fox yet, but I see them a lot on TMZ Sports.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Which by the way is a show on Fox Sports.
Exactly. So let's go.
Uh-huh.
Fox, I'm looking at you.
Wow.
You know, it wouldn't be
They're
a
the
podcast if I
juggernauts
did.
right now, man.
You know, it wouldn't be a podcast if I didn't use that line at some point.
Of course.
So Fox, I'm looking at y'all. What's up?
I'd be looking at you if you didn't use that line. Hey,
What's
man. Hey.
what's up? What's up?
Hey, hey, hey,
What's
hey.
up? What's up?
Wow.
What's up?
Stay tuned for the match of the century, Ness and Mo.
I'll bring it.
So,
Uh-oh.
with all this crap going on surrounding the UFC, it's good to see some good news for that came out of it as well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Are you alluding
I'll say
to?
this again.
Are you alluding
I'll
to
say
UFC
it again.
223 or what's up?
Yes, UFC 223. Yes, I'll say it again. The lightweight division is free from captivity.
Thank the Lord.
Congratulations to Khabib,
Yes.
the
Habib
real champion, the
Nurmagomedov.
legitimate champion.
Yes.
the Eagle, and props to Ally Aquinda for taking this fight, man.
Oh yeah,
Props.
and for going
And
as
props to
far as he
Holloway
did, and for showing that determination. I mean, obviously we all knew he wasn't going to win, and even on the feet he was still getting picked apart. But still,
but he still he showed a lot of heart. He brought it. He lasted.
So big
and
up.
Also props to Holloway. Big ups to Holloway for even wanting to take this fight.
Exactly.
Like, big ups to no doubt.
And Thug Rose, man.
Thug Rose, she went 25 minutes with JJ, and what a fight. Those two ladies left it all on the line. Wow. Good for both of them. Man. Congratulations to Thug Rose. Thug Rose.
You know what?
The champ.
You know
and
what?
Still.
3 words for her. 3 words for Thug Rose. God bless her.
Amen to that, brother.
God bless her.
Yeah. Now, here we go. Habib called out GSP.
Uh-oh.
Oh, snap.
Uh-oh.
I say make it happen.
You want to talk about
freaking
you want to talk about
a
extravaganza?
You want to talk about a super fight?
Wait. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Wrong woo.
Woo. That's right. Let's make it happen. Yeah. Make this happen.
It's crazy, man.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Oh yeah. I say let's go for it.
Do we know how long Ferguson is going to be out with his knee injury?
Nothing said yet.
Nothing yet. So I would imagine it's going to be a while.
I say we won't see him till late this year, beginning of next.
Probably. So I say let's see it. GSP
November.
Habib,
book it for November.
Madison Square Garden. He says Habib said he wants to fight at the Garden.
Book it for November, man. Let's go.
Let's make it happen.
You know, that's where Habib wants to fight. So
let's make it happen, and let's see it. I want to.
Is it? Now here's a question: is it Habib or Khabib?
It's Habib. I think the K is silent.
Habib.
Yeah.
Okay. Just wanted to make sure, because some people say Khabib.
Some say, they say Khabib. Yeah, it's Habib.
Okay. Okay. Because that throws me off sometimes, man.
It throws me off too. I'm like, wait, I thought it's. Oh shoot, I don't know.
So.
But I do want to see him and Ferguson at some point next year.
Obviously. Obviously.
Please.
I hope so.
Please, listen, I want to see it. Please.
Please, don't let anything happen. Man, the MMA gods just don't want this to happen.
I don't get it. Man.
They don't want it to happen. I don't know why.
This would be great to see. El Cucuy versus the Eagle.
If there's any ladies, listening, please wear earbuds. Listen to my sexy whisper.
Well,
very nice.
As I say, I love you.
There you go.
As I say, I love you in your ear, baby. Anyway, I'm getting way out of touch here. Anyway.
You're so sweet.
Oh my gosh, I think I want to marry him.
Okay. Hell no, not talking like that. You won't.
Be a shotgun wedding.
Yeah, right, there you go.
Damn, that ain't happening. Hell no. Not on my watch.
That's right.
I'll knock you out. Put him out. Put him up. Put him up. Put him up. Put him up.
Classic.
I think I want to marry him.
Oh yeah, now that works. That works.
That works.
I like it. I like it. That one. I like that one.
But
with all that said, folks.
We digress, ladies and gentlemen.
With all that said, folks, listen. Thank you for tuning in. Remember to always follow us on social media. The links are down below on that description box. Please always remember to thumbs up, give us a like, and hit that bell, subscribe, follow us, hit always on those notifications. That way, you'll always be notified as to what we're doing here at ENT Hooligans. I had to do it.
That's right. Of course.
Very nice, sir.
Of course.
Very nice.
I
Very resounding.
I am Baby Moy, also known as the boss, also known as management. He's Ness, known as podcast extraordinaire.
That's right.
That's right. She's Crystal, known as the Foxy Waxy Lady. Huh?
Brownie points for you, sir.
And
Well done, sir. Well done.
And he's Austin the Blade, also known as Commander Grace, also known as Supervisor. Woo! We
also
are
got a fourth name, debut of this new name, if I may.
Go ahead.
Also, Austin Dice.
That's right, Austin. Austin.
That's right.
Dice.
Never
Dice.
said
There we go.
podcast
Austin
until now.
Dice.
Roll
All
'em,
right.
roll 'em.
Debut
All
it.
right.
Roll 'em.
Yes.
Austin Dice,
So,
baby.
so today is the debut of that name.
All right.
Austin Dice.
Austin
That's right.
Dice.
That's right.
So with that said,
right.
Austin, please roll us out.
Yes.
Roll us out.
That's
Go
right. I see what you did there. Okay. I'm about to roll double sixes right here, baby. No, I'm
Hey, as long as it's not a 666, we're safe. So
ahead. Here we go. Exactly.
El cucuy, el
That's
cucuy.
right. I'll show you guys how I roll. Anyway, guys, like we've said before, we definitely appreciate you guys listening, if I could talk properly. And it really does mean a lot to us whenever you comment on a video or send us a message or whatever it is that you do. And we don't say that just to say it. We legitimately mean it, as some people can tell you. We definitely believe in making a concerted effort to connect with our fans. Because, we're literally nothing without you guys. And we definitely appreciate you guys giving us your time, your ear, whatever it is. And hit that bell, ring that bell. And make sure you get them notifications and all that other good stuff. And I'm rolling myself out of here now. So peace.
with that said, guys, stay productive. Have a beautiful day. Stay tuned. We're close to 100 videos. With that said,
That's right.
be blessed. And in everything you do, keep God number one in your life. For ENT Hooligans, I am Baby Moy. See ya.
God bless y'all. Peace.